So, I want to talk about the End of Dragon live stream that happened 2 days ago and give my input. I'm really glad to see that majority of the players are excited and generally positive with the upcoming features, even though there are some negativity. Unfortunately for me, I am slightly skewed towards the disappointed side, taking into account that the main features are all announced, considering that they released the pre-orders right after the live stream. I would do a whole video on why I'm disappointed, but that would be like an anti-hype video, so I'm not about to sabotage my favorite MMO obviously. So instead, I'm mostly gonna talk about what I expect them to do with the features they announce. First of all, the Siege Turtle. They announced that it will be a 2-player mount and you can pop up your mentor tag on and show a new player around on the mount, and that the passenger will be equally involved as the driver. What I hope that they will do is to make it available in World vs. World, and the passenger can like build cannons or catapults or ballistas on the Siege Turtle, and you wouldn't be OP as you require 2 players to control it. In PvE, I really hope that they incorporate the Siege Turtle usage into like End of Dragon meta events, like mount your Siege Turtle to blast down the wall or something like that. Otherwise, I don't see any use for the turtle at all, if you ask me. Next is the fishing. The only thing they mention about fishing is regarding like collecting all fish throughout the area. So basically a collection mechanic, which if that's the only thing would be quite underwhelming. Vets will complete the collection in like 3 days of release, while the new players will not bother at all unless they come around the fishing spots while leveling. So what I expect them to do is to make a ton of new foods which with like fish recipes or ascended food or maybe even legendary food with the rarest fish. I don't know. Be creative. Something to get players hooked with fishing and not just a collection. That's the main idea. Also, the fishing mechanic should be incorporated into like End of Dragon meta events as well. Something like a fishing sub event within the meta, something like we get in the Biora Marches, and basically just put more use into the assets they have. Next, the skips. I suppose the only good thing about this is that they won't be hundreds of people on their skimmer on the lake fishing for the same fish. It would be more decent to have multiple boats containing like 6 players, each traversing around and fishing. Otherwise, the skiff is just another monetization scheme, given that the fact that they already have its first skin in the End of Dragon pre-orders. Next, the Orine legendaries or the Gen 3 legendaries. Okay, for this, I think majority can agree that this is the laziest shit they have ever pulled. But there is one way to go about this. Just one though. I expect them to make it much more cheaper and easier to craft to appeal to the new players or maybe to those that never crafted legendaries before. This is so that the new players can gain access to the legendary armory as well. Otherwise, I assure you, most vets will not craft these at all. It's really disappointing to see them do something like this, putting a whole set of Black Lion skins as legendaries. And it's not even the best looking ones. I've seen much better like Black Lion skin than this. But if they make it more accessible to the new players and the new players actually start investing time in it, then it wouldn't be a complete waste. Next, I'm gonna talk about reusing story encounters as strikes. To be honest, this is by far the best thing I've heard from the live stream. It shows that ArenaNet really understand that they are wasting a lot of assets in the game that could have been easy repeatable content. It's not that I'm a super big fan of strikes, but just the idea of reusing old assets to make new content is great. I just wish they would go one step further, reuse the Balthazar final boss fight, reuse the Dino Modromorph fight, reuse the Joko or the branded Orin fights. Make them harder, add CMs, put them in Eye of the North, add some decent short-term and long-term rewards, and boom, you have like what, 4 new strikes? Also, why do they never thought about reusing the vanilla dungeons and make them into fractals? They have the assets, just tweak it a bit, make it fractal duration. And boom, you have like what, 8 new fractals? Of course, this is not what I'm expecting to get from End of Dragon, but just an idea that I really hope they would consider. I hope they abandon the DRMs though, because those are just horrible. Regarding the maps and the metas, they mentioned that they will add more verticality to the maps. So something like Heart of Thorn style maps, mainly because we have like the sky scale now and all the other mounts as well, and it wouldn't be a nightmare as your first time entering Tangled Depths, for example. So honestly, I have complete faith that the studio would deliver fantastic maps. From the looks of the few clips they gave us, it already looks stunning. And regarding the metas, they have experience with like multiple takes on metas throughout the last 2 Living World season, such as Drizzlewood, Drakkar, Dragonstamp, Palawadan, as well as Heart of Thorn metas, which was their best of the best. So I think they are really capable of meta events now, and I hope they won't repeat the same mistakes as to reintroduce Path of Fire metas. The story. I am a bit skeptical regarding the story because of what they gave in Icebrood Saga. I made a whole video about how it would be better, so if you can check it out, that would be great. Basically, the studio has a history of delivering good storytelling as well as bad storytelling. Bad such as Heart of Thorns, Living World Season 2, Living World Season 3, and even the Icebrood Saga. And good such as Path of Fire, Living World Season 4, with the Balthazar, the Gods, Orin, Joko, Kraukatoric, all those were fantastic. And everyone's talking about the Dragon J technology, etc., which I have no idea because I've never played Guild Wars 1. So I really hope they know how to cater to those who never played Guild Wars 1 before, such as myself, and make sure that everyone gets a fantastic experience. Next is basically what I hope they would announce further down the line. I really hope that they would talk about maybe new fractals, because we're not gonna get dungeons anymore, I fear at this point, so fractals will be our core dungeons. And new raids with new encounters separate from the main story, more legendaries that are not Black Lion sets, obviously. Let's be honest, if ANET wants a cool looking skin for a weapon, they can have a cool looking skins for weapons, because they have the people to do so. Just look at the gem store, they have so many legendary worthy skins on it. So that's it for what I expect from the features they announced in their live stream. Sorry if you came in hoping for a wow, everything is perfect, I'm so excited generic response. I want to stay true to how I feel, and I won't act positive just because people expect me to be. regardless of what happens, I will still buy the expansion, obviously, because you don't get that many expansions in Guild Wars 2. And whether or not the features are decent, the expect will be worth it. And of course, I'm not expecting them to deliver a groundbreaking, game-changing feature like Path of Fire, but just polish up the ones they already announced, give a good story, give decent maps, and I'll be satisfied.